I think that we welcome the release of the report. We have been waiting for that in the community. However, it was lacking some details around the buyback scheme, as in the eligibility criteria, when it will be rolled out, what that's going to look like. So, unfortunately, it hasn't really answered a lot of our questions. We're still in the same position, particularly with another La Nina event being announced yesterday from the bomb, too.
Your house was flooded to the ceiling. Are you keen to take part in any buyback offer?
Look, I will be open to a buyback offer, but my first question will be, can I take my house? My house was built in 1910. It's all hardwood, teak and cedar. It's a beautiful old home. So I would be extremely reluctant to accept any form of buyback if it meant the demolition of my home.
So the frame itself of your home continues to be strong enough, you believe, to live well into the future?
Definitely. Look, it's gone through every flood in Lismore's history since 1910. I know it was built in that year because I found a half penny in the wall that has the Queen's father on it. I probably could live another 200 years if it's moved out of the floodplain and into safety, which is what the residents and the people who inhabit the homes also want. But these homes are a part of our cultural and community identity here. I've had it structurally assessed and it's sound. And often to people that aren't familiar with this area, relocation of houses seems quite a radical idea. But if you look to Brisbane, it happens very frequently, and relocation of Lismore homes has happened after every single major flood event. So it's a part of our history.
Have you put that forward as an idea or even a precondition of you taking part in such a scheme?
Well, look, when they open up the eligibility criteria, because at this point I don't know if I would even be a part of the buyback scheme. But as soon as they do, that's exactly what I will be doing. I also made a Facebook group called Relocate Lismore Homes, which is close to 600 members now. So that's 600 confirmed people that would also like to relocate their houses. And as you can see, I've also made shirts.
Why don't you know whether you will potentially be a part of that scheme yet? Is it because the area itself that is to be included in the buyback scheme hasn't been released?
Exactly right. So at this point, the community has no more answers than they did before the press conference. So look, I think that, as we say, like, we welcome it, but unfortunately, I will still go to bed tonight not knowing if it's going to flood next week or next month, because in Lismore, it's not a question of if it will flood again, it's when.
Do you believe that the New South Wales government's report got to the heart of what went wrong leading up to the floods and in the immediate aftermath?
From my initial takes on the report, I haven't had the chance to have an in-depth read of it at this stage, but I say that it's definitely better than it could have been, and it's also acknowledged, which the Premier did himself to his credit, that they want to retain the charm and character of our area. I definitely think the incorporation of community members in forms of rain gauges for flooding events and evacuation definitely needs to be included, because the bomb with its centralised service obviously wasn't giving us accurate information. As everybody has seen around the nation now, people trapped on their roofs for 4 to 6 hours.
And so, coming into another summer with the prospect of another La Nina forming, are you confident that should there again be flooding in your town, that the response would be quicker, the people of Lismore wouldn't be left wondering what was happening?
I honestly can't answer that question. I have joked that I wouldn't be surprised if we see another major flood before anything changes. And I think it's a little bit difficult in Lismore because we're 2.5 hours drive from Brisbane, and you see that their package has already been announced. They've already started implementing buybacks, land swaps, all of the things that we're desperate for. And we're 6 months on, and I'm in exactly the same state as I was before the flood, apart from having a, internally damaged home. So look, I really can't answer that question at the moment, because right now, if we did have a flood next week, we'd be exactly the same. Nothing's changed.